Gwendolyn Brooks. A prize-winning poet, Gwendolyn Brooks was a poet. She wrote many books of poetry. In 1950, she won a big award for a book called Annie Allen. It was the Pulitzer Prize. She was the first black poet to win this prize. Winning the Pulitzer changed her life. She joked about it. "Sometimes I feel my name is Gwendolyn Pulitzer Brooks," she said. Early poems. Brooks was born in 1917. She grew up in Chicago. She started making up rhymes at an early age. Her mother and father helped her. They taught her to read and write. Her first poem was printed in a Chicago newspaper when she was 13. By the time she was 17, she had published 75 poems. Brooks was brave. She sent her work to Langston Hughes, a famous poet. He told her to keep writing. Bronzeville. Gwendolyn Brooks went to college. Later she married and had 2 children. She also followed Hughes' advice. She kept on writing. Her first book came out in 1945. A book of poems for children came out a few years later. Both books were about Bronzeville, an African-American neighborhood in Chicago. The poems brought the town to life. They told about the people. Poetic voice. Brooks felt poetry should be read out loud. She loved to read her poems to people. She read wherever people would listen. She read in schools. She read in hospitals. She read in apartment buildings. She took her poems wherever she went. She was always ready to read. The Black Arts Movement. Gwendolyn Brooks went to a meeting in 1967. She met many young poets there. These poets were very proud to be black. They wrote about things that were important to Black Americans. These poets were part of the Black Arts Movement. They set an example for Brooks. She had always written about African American life. Now she began to write more about things important to African Americans. She wrote about the way they were treated. She wrote about their injustice. She did not want people to be treated unfairly just because they were African American. Spreading the word. Brooks became important in the Black Arts Movement. She preferred to have her books printed by African American printers. She worked with young African poets. She said she learned a lot from young people. Brooks ran poetry workshops and held poetry contests. Mostly, she held the contests in schools. When she held a contest in a prison, she often paid for the prizes with her own money. An inspiration to others. Brooks kept writing books for children. She told children to be proud of who they were. She gave advice to young poets. She said, "Talk about what you wonder." Brooks won numerous awards. She was given many honors. She even had a school named after her. It was her dream to help others. Her dream came true. She helped many writers. She inspired Black poets to write about their own lives.